Normally, I'll have an essay done and dusted, 2 weeks, absolute tops. And I was really struggling with this one because I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get it across to my mind anyway, sufficiently on the paper that I was happy with. That was frustrating. But again, I knew fine well it was just a case of keep battering on at it, chip away, chip away, chip away. You will get it done. I put myself under a bit more pressure because I used more time than I would do normally, which reduced the time for my next. But at the end of the day, that was one of the points where I kind of thought, God Almighty, like so. I was actually toiling, but at the end of the day, I knew fine well that I would get there in the end. It was taking me a lot longer, and I was flogging myself a lot for it.
We spoke about this at the PhD summer school, and there was a professor there doing a lecture, and it was almost like a prep for higher learning, but for PhD class.
Mhm.
And she said to this day, she still struggles with when is it good enough?
Aye,
Because you
aye.
can sit there and stress yourself about how to craft the most perfect sort of sentence and how to make it sound as as fancy and as academic and so much finesse. It's like, when is it good enough?
I ended up having to actually limit myself to see like proofreading. I went like, no, I'll proofread maximum of 4 times, ideally no more than 3 times. Because I could proofread 100 times and I'd still be making alterations at the end at the 100th time, and I wouldn't necessarily be making changes for the better. It's just because you're always thinking there's always room for improvement. I can always,
Perfectionist.
aye, well, aye. I think that's just my artistic side kind of coming through. It's nothing's ever kind of quite good enough, but I used to have to limit myself, and again, this is all to do with your kind of time management, and you really need to be quite strict with yourself, as far as kind of saying this is when I'm going to start that. I'm intending to be finished by then. There's how much time I've got for the reading. Start taking your notes down and your references as you're doing your reading. Highlight them or whatever, or just I used to have a separate work pad, and I would actually note down on that what the book was, what the page was, what the reference was. And you don't always need them all because you don't know what's going to be involved in the essays, etc. But you can tell there are going to be some things that certainly will be in the essays. So take your references down whilst you can as you're doing your reading. It takes you a wee bit longer to do your reading, but it's well worth it in the long run.